What's up everyone, Alex here, and today we're going to be looking at PlayStation portable games on the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus. We're going to be using PPSSPP as our emulator. When you first start your Retroid Pocket Plus and install emulators to it, you can install this. What I have done though is I have downloaded the APK from the website and sideloaded it, so I wanted to make sure I definitely had the newest version of this emulator. And we're going to go into some of these settings, but to be honest, this device just handles pretty much like any PSP game you can throw at it at 2x and mostly 3x resolution. There's only a few titles where it's a bit demanding and have to lower it down to 2x. We want to try and hit 3x because that is about the same as this resolution on the screen, and that'll be like the nicest we can get it looking on the device. Let's have a look at the settings, because that we're going to be setting some of the games individually, and when there's also the case of like remappings your controls, so you have to do that on a case-by-case basis. But these are the general settings I have. So in graphics, we have backend with Vulkan, so that's just a typical thing with the Retroid Pocket 3. We're going to be using Vulkan, and you can use a skip buffer, and that might result in better performance in some games, but what happens when you use that is you can't change the rendering resolution. I'm not sure if like you set the rendering resolution first and then change that option, but basically we're going to just keep this on buffered. Simulate block transfer effects is going to be on. I think there's a couple of games we might turn that off. We're going to skip frame skipping. Thank you. We don't need that. So we're going to be trying to hit 3x. Now for the display resolution, we're going to have it on auto, because I think, I didn't do too much research on this, if we set it to native device, it might be a little bit more demanding with the resolution it's trying to get, because the screen isn't like a perfect like 16:9 resolution or whatever the PSP is. So we're going to keep that at auto. This setting, render duplicate frames to 60 Hz. This is a weird one. When we turn it on, it says can make frame rate smoother in games that run at lower frame rates. I haven't really seen a huge benefit to this. I leave it on, but there's several games I've had to turn that setting off because it just made the game so much slower. So we're going to leave it on, but there's some games we'll turn it off. We have these two options on and we have these off. There's a few games where we'll turn all of these on to help increase the performance just a bit. Curves quality too high. I think there was a racing game where I turned it to low, and when there were like different hills, it didn't really render the roads properly, so it just looked like you kept driving through different roads. I'm gonna leave texture scaling and texture filtering. I can't remember if this was how it was at default, but that's what I'm using. This setting here, lower resolution for effects, you can change this to a safe, balanced or aggressive option. There's a couple of games we're going to be changing that to an aggressive option. I'm going to leave the FPS count on speed. I like to see if we can hit 100%. That's really the only statistic I need to see. When it comes to audio, just on. I think that's the default settings. Controls. So I have default controls where obviously I set the D-pad, circle button, etc. Start, select, L and R. I put L and R on L1, R1, and then what I do is I put fast forward and speed toggle to L2 and R2. I feel like those are buttons I don't use as much, so you know, it's just a preference thing. You do you. And something you might not have realized, I remember I didn't realize at the time, is there's these plus buttons next to every option. So what I can do, for example, if I want D-pad up to be two different things, I can press plus, I can press down, and now I have two different options for D-pad up. So you can set multiple buttons to do the same inputs, which is really handy, which I will show in a couple of games. And we're not going to have touchscreen controls on, obviously. It's a shame we don't have like combo buttons. I would have liked a couple of games to have an option where I press a button that does two different inputs at the same time. When I looked this up, apparently this was something you could do with on-screen touch controls, but apparently not with regular inputs, so that's a shame. Leave the vibration on if it has it, and not going to bother with networking, and not going to bother with tools. System, I'm just going to run through this and just let you see what I have. Obviously, you need a place to save your game files. And we get to about here, so emulation. So this is some stuff you can tweak to maybe get like differing performance. For example, change emulated PSP CPU clock. Left to auto, it will hopefully just help a little bit more here and there, but you can set that to something yourself. I'm not going to touch that, but something we do change in a couple of games is change emulated PSPs. No, this one, IO timing method. There's a couple of games where we'll change that to host, and that will help improve some of the speed as well. And I think that just about does it. So if your settings are not like mine, don't worry too much. As I said before, I have sideloaded the latest version of PPSSPP, got the APK and sideloaded it, but mostly the settings should be similar. So let's start checking out some games. These are all the ones I tested out since they're in my recent section. If I go over to the games section, well, I basically tried nearly all of them, but I've got 4 different Armored Core games on here. I wasn't going to try them all. And obviously, since the new Armored Core 6 was just announced, Armored Core's, it's a bit of a buzzword at the moment. I've never played Armored Core. For some reason, I do kind of like mech games, so I was interested in checking some of them out. So let's start from the top. We're going to go kind of alphabetically, even though Super Stardust is not alphabetical. Also, like, I've got the window open, and it's kind of like doing a cool thing with the purple see-through case. One of the things I like about this case is when you're playing kind of in the dark, like you're laying in bed and you hold it close to your face, you can't really see the purple, but you can see the light sort of shining through the case, and it's a pretty cool effect. So yeah, let's get into the games. So we're going to start off alphabetically, even though Super Stardust is not alphabetical. There's some numbers at the start of that file, I think that's why. So let's start that up. This is one of the games where I've created a config. So what you see here, it says delete game config. I'll show this again on the game where I haven't made one, but it will say like create game config there. If you press that, now every time you go to game settings, you will be tweaking the settings for that game individually and nothing else. So you can go around and tweak different things, knowing it won't mess around with your global settings. And the main thing for most of these games is to go into the mapping here and create your own controls. So in this game in particular, Super Stardust, it's well, the PSP doesn't have 2 sticks, but the game, I don't know what other platforms it's on, but you would kind of consider it a twin stick shooter, since what they want you to do in this game is move around with the stick and shoot with the buttons. So what you can do is map it in a way that it will play like a twin stick shooter. So I can move around with the stick, but I've set the face buttons to the right stick, and now I'm playing this as a twin stick shooter. The only downside to this is that you only have 8 direction movements because of the way the buttons would work as a shooter. What you can do instead in the options is set it in reverse so that you shoot with the stick and move with the buttons. And then you can set it in a way so your ship would move in 8 directions, but your shooting would be full 360. I've just set it like this because I thought I'd prefer it this way. With a game where you need to do lots of like quick movement, maybe I would prefer 360-degree movement. There's lots of different weapons that you can use in this. This is a pretty fun arcade game. You could sit around and just sink a good hour into this and lose time. I think that's one of my favorite things about portable devices and emulation. Like, you can play some of those big, amazing PlayStation, Nintendo titles and so on, but they're also just amazing to just razz on for a little while. Some of these fun arcade titles. Now, I don't think I set anything crazy in the settings here. I'm going off by memory here. Most of these games just work perfectly, but I'm pretty sure if I come across a certain game, I'll remember I had to tweak something. So, that was Super Stardust. Got a bunch of Armored Core games on here, but the only one I really checked out was Armored Core 3 Portable. I did some research on the Armored Core games, and Armored Core 3 was the one that come up mostly on top. Armored Core 2 and 3. Game settings here. I don't believe I had to change anything here. 3x. It's just my global settings. What was the big thing I did is I changed so many of the controls. So many of them. For example, there's a lot of functions mapped on the D-pad, and I've just moved basically every control in this game in a way that would allow me to play it with 2 sticks and make it more of a third-person shooter. So now I can use the stick to move around if I want, strafing and moving, but I've also mapped that to the D-pad because I thought I might prefer that too. I've got the boost button on the L button, and I have shooting on the right button. I also have boost on the left stick click as well, if I wanted to use it that way. But right now I've got like this good thing going of being able to maneuver around and shoot things when I like. I press this button and I can change weapons. If I press the right stick click in, I've got the melee button there. That's really powerful. Circle button. The square button makes you do this crazy dash that gets you out the way of things. Can't remember what I've set circle to. But it was the default control scheme was really odd. So for example, this button would be look down and this would be look up. So I set those to the right stick because it's just natural. And do forgive me with some of this video. Oh, I think he's my friend. When you're like trying to use the sticks and the shoulder buttons at the same time, it can get a little wobbly. Which is why some people just set the controller down, the device down on the table or something when they play it and record. That makes sense. But yeah, I've set my shoulder buttons to be my turbo buttons, so if I hold the right trigger... Ooh, I went out of zone. Yeah. Right trigger is turbo. If I just tap left trigger, that'll just stick turbo on indefinitely, and I can just tap it again if I want it off. So those are really handy for like JRPGs and things like that. That's pretty much a good showing of Armored Core. So compared to my like PlayStation 2 or GameCube video, I'm really not going to be showing much setup. It's mostly just a showcase of how these games run as well as they do on this device. I don't think I had to tweak Breath of Fire 3. I went through this game just a little bit. I thought I would like try and get... because you start off as a little dragon and have a few battles, but I thought I would at least get the whole party and get some more stuff going, but it's all just sprites, so it was never going to be complicated. Why is the text so slow? You can also play this on the PlayStation 1 emulator. I don't know which one's the best version. I think the PSP is the best version, but don't quote me on that. It looks gorgeous on it though. And I'd assume this is the best version because of the widescreen. Let's just skip all this, shall we? That's why we got the fast forward button. So we'll do a quick battle. the girl in the party just can't see crap. She just stuck behind that rock. Didn't even need her. We got any cool spells? I think that's just steel. Oh, he does attack as well. So, every time I do these videos, I forget to turn my phone off. Every time. That was a critical? Amazing. So I can't really think of any like situations in this game where it would get demanding. I don't know, maybe a certain spell, maybe an entire dragon on the screen. Don't think we need to show any more of that. Burnout, we've got two different Burnout games. I have been playing, so is that Burnout Legends? I've been playing Burnout Dominator. And actually, before I play, so these games, there's a little cog on some of them on the bottom left. That means you've set custom settings to these games. And, you know, so you can see that some of them don't even have the custom settings, like Pursuit Force 1. Just runs on my global settings fine, but some of these custom settings are just me changing the controls around. So Burnout Dominator, I know it's that one I've played because it's got a little cog there. So let's get that running, and let's go to... Oh god, don't save. I knew this would happen when I'm doing these videos. So, what did I change here? So it's likely that I've turned off this render duplicate frames to 60 Hz off. If I turn it on, I'm not sure if this is the game. There's several games. Okay, I turned it off for some reason in this game, and it seems to be... Oh no, that's right. When I turned around the corner, that's when it started getting really slow. When I turned the setting off, it ran fine. So yeah, if you want to play a decent Burnout game on the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, you can play the PSP ones. They look decent, and they're pretty fun to play. But I did do a video on how you could play Burnout 3 on the PS2 fairly well by applying some patch codes to remove the blur effects that seemingly are quite demanding on the actual PlayStation 2. However, it's not the smoothest of experiences. Like, there's times where it will be 100%. There's times where the underclock, even though it says 100%, will make it feel slow at times. But mostly playable, and that's fairly impressive for this device. Because Burnout 3 is quite difficult to run. And yet you can play this with the stick if you want. A lot of these games I do prefer to use the D-pad. Wow, I didn't see that car. Yeah, this is one of the... With some of these PSP games, some of them look like okay, somewhere between PS1 and PS2. This one looks like it could be a PS2 game. It's a pretty decent looking game. I just want to crash now. Like, I purposely want to crash now, and... There we go. Oh, come on. So many times on this channel when I want to play well, I play bad. Okay, whatever. Next game I'm going to have a look at is going to be Castlevania. That doesn't have any customs, so we're just going to turn it on and it's going to work really well. I have a save state here, I think, because I got to a boss fight. So I tried to get to a decent place. You know, I didn't want to just start from the start with some of these games. I just wanted to get through a certain amount and check if any little inconsistencies or performance problems happen. This is a really fun game to play, and I think depending what you do in the game, there's a certain thing you can do to get Symphony of the Night also. I have no idea if it's a good port of the game on this device. Ah, I knew I'd die. So I do actually have a PSP. I do have some, like, oddly... How do I describe it? So, what age would I have been? Like 16, 17? I can't remember when the PSP came out. But most of my handheld memories are like being a kid. The PSP sort of came out when I was like a young adult. And it's just a different sort of time, different experience. I remember playing this a lot. I remember playing Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops. I jumped right into him. And this is one of the games I really like playing. It's a solid Castlevania game. And, well, I don't really need to show much more of that. There's a lot of games to get through, so I'm just going to keep going through them. So, let's check out Crimson Gem. I don't think I had to tweak anything here. I just kind of ran through it a bit. Never played this game, don't know much about it, but I did have it, so I thought I'd check it out. The artwork's really nice. The sprites are really nice. But I suppose the one thing that bothers me about it is that it all looks nice, and then you have this odd sort of like 8-direction thing. And I feel like this is one of those games that would have benefited from having like little 3D models or something, because these backgrounds are quite gorgeous. Also, it's very frustrating trying to test like JRPGs you've never played, because they usually take forever to start. I don't think I've seen this game's battle system yet. I just sort of ran around, talked to some people. And I was debating if I'd even show it, but I thought, you know what, it looks quite cool. It's probably, there might be some people that go, what is this game? I'd love to check it out, so, yeah. What are you raking, boy? Eggplants. I like his attitude, man. Like, screw the outside world. All I need to do is farm. Some good advice for you there. Sometimes you gotta just say, go away, outside world. I've got my own crap to do. Damn, there's like so much original artwork in this game. You know, usually things are tiled or whatever. Oh, are we going to see the battle system? Oh, I was hoping it'd be like Chrono Trigger and happen on the thing.
That's how a chevalier handles business.
Oh. Reminds me a bit of RPG Maker now, actually. Ambush me. Does he have any special abilities? Justice Blade. Of course he has Justice Blade. He's the hero.
You should have retreated.
Yeah, he really should have. Alright, that's enough of that game. Let's have a look at this. Okay, so this is one of my own like personal favorites. This is Denki Blocks. I think I played this on the Nintendo DS. But what it is a cool little puzzle game. So, and this is apparently a PSP mini, so it would have been a very cheap title and quite a small title as well. So in Denki Blocks, you have to like get all the blocks together. So I can just like do this, and done. The level's done. But you have some challenges that you can put the blocks together in a certain way. So I can replay that level. And, oh, actually, the challenge is to get it into a plus symbol. So, oh, I screwed up. Wait. There you go. You made the special shape. Don't I feel good? It's a really good game. It gets harder and harder. I really hope it's not just 16 levels. That would be... This would have to be a very cheap game otherwise. But if you're addicted to this game, yeah, there's a very good version of it on the 3DS. Now I have to think about how to make that shape. Because if I... and then if... if I go down, they'll both... wait. Oh no, I buggered it up. But you see what I mean? You could get easily addicted to that. I just wanted to show that one off. There's nothing, you know, you could play that on any device. Final Fantasy 3. I'm not massively into the classic Final Fantasy games, but this one's been remade in 3D. It was remade in 3D, and I got up to the first boss. Which is a giant turtle. And I remember picking up these ice items, Antarctic Wind. And if I was playing this on my own, I'd be very tempted to just turbo through this. I ran out of ice items. And I tested this earlier. It should kill him. What a wimp. You have been chosen. I haven't seen anything here. I was hoping something cool would happen afterwards, but I made that save state just before that boss. Dude, I'm actually quite excited for Final Fantasy 16. I'm not a huge Final Fantasy fan. I like 7. I thought 8 had some cool concepts. I finished 10. At the time, I really wanted to like 15. But I just couldn't get into it. And I saw the movie Kingsglaive that got like a lot of bad reviews. I actually thought it was quite fun if you don't think about it too much. But yeah, Final Fantasy 16 with the team behind Final Fantasy 14, the guys who did Vagrant Story. If you guys haven't played Vagrant Story, play Vagrant Story. Okay, that's really boring. Let's go do something else. Final Fantasy works just fine. Final Fantasy Tactics works just fine as well. Didn't have to change anything here. I got to... I think this is the second battle in the game. I've never actually played Final Fantasy Tactics, and that's a sin, since I literally just said go play Vagrant Story. It's the same guys. It's the same world, I think. But I've tried to play this twice in my life, and both times I just wasn't in the mood. And I think you just... with some games, you just gotta be in the mood for them. And a tactics game is something you definitely have to be in the mood for, because it's just very particular pacing. And I'm the type of person that likes... I mean, I do like RPGs, but I more so lately like skill-based games, as in, like, reactive skill-based. Have I set any... Oh, you use the stick to do that, right. Are you sure you want to hit this man? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I love the whole facing different directions as well, because I think you can get flanked and they do more damage that way, and support from different characters. I'll move one more person and then that will do. But I really don't like this camera, to be honest. I think that this is also a patched version of the game. I can't remember what the patch was, something to do with slowdowns or something, maybe. But yeah, that's Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Next game we're going to have a look at is... this is Suikoden, and it is the translated version of Suikoden. I forget the name of the full title, like the Woven Tree or something. Woven Web of Centuries. So this is translated because this was only released in Japan, and I played this for a little bit. This also has like custom controls. Something I need to check with this is... I think I only changed the controls. Okay. Because I had a problem with the game being too dark, and I think it's because I did not have simulate block transfer effects on. Something like that. And I've set the controls so I can run around and use the camera. The D-pad was originally the camera. I've left the D-pad that way. I would have liked to use it for movement, but you'll see when I get into a battle, if I changed that, the stick doesn't let you use the menu, only the D-pad, so I've left it that way. Damn, that back got just absolutely slashed. We'll do one more battle. I think there's like a big pig over here. So PSP for me, I found the PSP to be a kind of hit and miss system. That's merely personal taste though. There are so many games on the PSP, like it's ridiculous. But there's a lot of certain types of games, like JRPGs. You've got like Monster Hunter on there, which I don't play. So there's a lot of games on the PSP I don't play, but this system's got to be a treasure trove to like the certain kind of gamer. And this device is just perfect for that then. If you adore the PSP, and you don't want to spend loads of money on an expensive handheld, but you want it to be of a certain quality, this is the sweet spot. And I know the standard Retroid Pocket 3 can do PSP, but I don't know to what level. But it does have a screen that is, I can't remember the exact resolutions, but it's somewhere close to the 1280 by 720 range. And if you want to try and hit that if you can, which is why we're trying to do 3x resolution for on the emulator. Right. After Suikoden, we're going to have a look at God of War. This has been covered by several people who have checked out this game, and to be honest with you, I watched their videos and no. That would defeat the purpose. I basically like looked at what they did and to get this game running as best as possible. So these are my settings. We have block transfer effects off. Was that meant to? I don't know. Just leave it be. The game runs well. You can double check another video if you want. We're at 2x and we have all of these ticked on. We also have the curve quality set to low. We have low resolution for effects set to aggressive. And in this section here, which I talked about earlier, we have the IO timing method to host. And I believe that is what we have to get this game running at pretty much 100% speed. Now, I've downloaded this out of my own curiosity for the performance. I'm not a big God of War fan. I said this in a different video. I like the newest ones. I like God of War 2018, and I like God of War Ragnarok. And I did play God of War 3. I do like a good character action game, and I remember that being really fun. But I think I've heard that if you like God of War, the PSP games are quite good. I'm fairly sure if you do that 1, 2, 3, 4, then heavy attack combo, that is the just the strongest combo in the game. Lord Kratos, you got it. Press to force an enemy to the ground. Yeah. Just punch him in the face. There's a lot going on in this room. Bit of a dip. I haven't actually been in this room. I just want to do a few rooms. If I was personally more interested in this game, I would have got to maybe half an hour more in this game and see what the settings were like. So I'm going to trust that other people that really like this game know what they're doing. And as I've tested this emulator myself, the settings they've like messed around with are the settings I would have messed around with, so I'm confident. think I'm gonna die. What the hell are these things? And Kratos is dead. That's a good time to change the game. Next game I'm going to have a look at. Another tactics game. Like I said, the PSP is a wonderful device for certain genres of games. Lots of tactical games. And actually, Jeanne D'arc is one I actually would have liked to play myself. I think I had to change some settings in this one, actually, to get it. I think this is one of those cases where I had to, turn off render duplicate frames because it was slowing the game down. That pretty much would be the only one. For most of these games, that would be the one I'd have to turn off to make it a bit smoother. And yeah, I never played this before. Across different devices like the Vita, the Odin, and I guess this, I've always told myself, oh yeah, I'll put this game on. One day I'm going to play that. Because I've heard very good things about it. I like the models in this game. So this is how I would have preferred Final Fantasy Tactics to be. I can see everything a little bit better. I do believe... I don't know, maybe in Tactics I didn't have the camera angle at a certain view. So I can use the stick to twist around. Of course. Standard tactics strategies. Get behind them. Damn. So, I guess if I move this character here and wait and look this way, hopefully he'll go and attack me in the face. No. Well, that was lucky. I was just going to position him so that Jeanne could get behind him. I've actually composed the music to a couple of tactical games. A long time ago there was an online game which doesn't exist anymore called Almacy Tactics. And then this year a game came out on the PC called The Iron Oath in early access, which I did the soundtrack for. And that's a turn-based dark fantasy title where you basically build a mercenary team across the world. And it's turn-based, but it's across a hex grid. Anyway, that's Jeanne D'arc. Heard very good things. Runs great. Sorry, I couldn't see that exit menu. Next game we're going to have a look at is Mega Man? Mega Man! I do believe I've got a state here. So whenever I personally play Mega Man X, I always go to Storm Eagle. Because Storm Eagle, I mean, I think he is actually one of the best bosses to start off with. And he has a badass song. Storm Eagle. But unfortunately, it's a very average electronic song in this one. And for me, Storm Eagle is just like heavy metal, man. It's gotta be heavy metal. There are some amazing covers of that song. And this is like, I guess it's a bit more like Mega Man X4 sounding. but it's very safe sounding. It's not as badass. Even the SNES version is better than this song. I think me and my brother own this game, but I never personally played it all the way through. I played some of it. I remember thinking it looked odd. Like, it was cool to see the game in 3D, but I kind of personally preferred the look of the SNES game. Whoa. Let's have another look at another level. I think Chill Penguin is the one you're supposed to start off with. Let's check out Boomerang Kuwanga. Boomerang Kuwanger. Why is that funny? Okay, now this song sounds more like it should be this style. Oh my god. What? I was just thinking to myself, how do I hit him without getting hit? I don't have any special weapons. I guess I'll be a bit more cautious. It's so boring. That's better. One thing I find really odd about this game is when you go left and right, and it's more obvious with the stick, is there's this pause every time you turn left and right, which is really odd to me for a platformer, because a platformer to me is one where you have to be quite responsive, and to have that delay from turning left and right just doesn't seem right. Ah, screw it. I cannot play games properly. Next game I'm gonna have a look at after Mega Man is, so this is Peace Walker. I think with Peace Walker I have only set, well, I think I've turned off the 60 Hz thing, yeah, because that was making it slow. But I've also set the controls so that don't save state on 2. I've set it to be a twin stick, so I can look around with the right stick. Now, screen shaking games doesn't bother me, but in this game, especially with the low frame rate, the screen, the shaking as he runs around, it's pointless. I don't know why they've added that. And you cannot turn it off in the options. But I did the intro section of the game. So now you're just doing this tutorial, the second tutorial on the beach, I suppose. And I don't know, I can't be asked to do this tutorial, but I just wanted to show that the game does run pretty well and feels pretty good with this twin stick setup. What's on the D-pad? Okay, so the D-pad usually would have been the camera. It's so odd that they did that. I feel like Sony, like, why couldn't they add a second stick? I mean, obviously they did with the Vita, but it was just an odd design decision. It's like, here we have a device which obviously can make 3D games, and with any 3D game you usually need a decent way to control the camera, but we're going to give you one stick. A grenade should take out the fence. Do I have a grenade? I've played like every Metal Gear Solid title, but I have not played Peace Walker. I don't know why. Just every time I saw the game, I thought I think it was the singing AI. And I used to keep telling myself, like, how are these Metal Gears so much better than Metal Gear Rex? It doesn't make sense. Oh, we don't need loading times. We've got a fast forward button. Avoid combat. Yeah, right. So the left button is for the camera. In the other Metal Gear Solid game, it's a lock-on button. But that isn't the one that's directed by Hideo Kojima. Oh, I remember the damage numbers used to put me off too. So there's a lot of games that came to like PlayStation Portable where I was excited at first, and then I played them and I was disappointed. So I'm a big Valkyria Chronicles fan. I think that game's amazing, and Valkyria Chronicles 4 is amazing as well. But I played about half of Valkyria Chronicles 2 and some of Valkyria Chronicles 3, and I just can't play them. The bite-sized map system, it just, to me, it just kind of like ruins the whole feeling of what Valkyria Chronicles was, which was like this, you got a big open map and you got like actual like war tactics and proper shooting. And when you're on like these tiny maps and you have to send your troops through like an exit of one map into another and it's another small map, it just didn't vibe with me. But I know a lot of people still like those games. But to me, when they announced Valkyria Chronicles 4, oops. I'm used to old Metal Gear and pressing circle to punch and kick. Yeah, when they announced Valkyria Chronicles 4, to me that was the true sequel. And I really liked it. Wait, they don't go down when you roll through them? This is so awkward. He's dead. Good time to switch. Next game I'm going to have a look at after Metal Gear Solid is, so there's two different versions of Portable Ops. There's the regular and then there's Plus. I've never played Plus, but I, for some reason, decided this is the one I was going to test. And let me see if I turn that 60 hertz option off. I have in this one. I can't remember if I really needed to. There you go. So, oh, now I've forgotten all the controls. So I think if I tap triangle, I can sneak up. And then I grab him. Choke him a little bit. Everyone loves a little bit of choking in Metal Gear. And I'm supposed to recruit him by taking him to the nearby truck. But I first get his gun, because they told me to do that. I had to do this one really boring level to get here, because I was not going to show that in the test. And then I can select that AK, and I can go into first person mode, which Peace Walker doesn't have. You sure killed the hell out of that one. I told you not to kill him. Sorry. Oh, that was game over? I didn't do that. Oh, please don't save state. Thank you. So I didn't have to choke him out at all. So the first Portable Ops game, even though that wasn't like directed by Kojima, it's not his story, I really liked it, and I also thought it had some really good music as well. And the way the story concludes, I also quite enjoyed. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to be a channel you come for, like, check out a retro device, and it's like, oh man, I was going to play that and he spoiled it. I'm going to try and steer clear of that one. But as you can see, this game runs pretty nicely. Obviously, I would have preferred to test a map where loads of enemies are all alerted and try and take me out. That's what I usually try and test with a Metal Gear Solid game, but do characters have stamina in this game, or am I... If I take a ration, he's fine. It's like he's constantly bleeding out or something. But yeah, we got this massive facility and no enemies. I do realize what I literally just said about Valkyria Chronicles and the whole bite-sized thing. So Portable Ops is very much sort of like bite-sized Metal Gear Solid missions. But I would say, like, for the most part, the core gameplay was still there. I feel like, you know, Valkyria Chronicles, in comparison, what I loved about 1 and 4 was not in the portable games. But for Metal Gear Solid, what you love about Metal Gear Solid is pretty much there, intact. Alright, let's get out of this game. The next game we're going to have a look at is, yeah, so I checked out these Metal Slug games. You can get them on the PlayStation 2 as well. I thought if you got them on the PSP, you would get them running really nicely at a smaller file size. I don't think the file size is much different, but I do imagine they are playing a lot nicer. I don't think anything's changed here in my settings. I'm just literally going to speed through and pick a Metal Slug title. Usually when I go in these games, with every game I test, or any new game I play, I always go to the options menu and check things out. So, for example, here, I would have gone to display options. I'd like, you know, I want to check that if there's a widescreen option or so. But in this one in particular, you do not want to go on full screen. Well, unless you don't mind classic games like this being really stretched. Let's check out, I don't know, Metal Slug 4. I think I only played Metal Slug 1, maybe. I've never actually played all of these all the way through. Oh, there's some sassy ladies in here. Nadia. Did Metal Slug Tactics come out yet? Or is that still coming out? That would be a sick game to play on a handheld. I mean, obviously it's coming to Switch, but I don't really use my Switch anymore. I haven't used my Switch in I don't know, maybe like 2 years, apart from Metroid Dread. And because I don't use it much, I don't want it to. I don't want the Switch to be a device I just use every now and then. So the Odin, for example, was a device I used constantly, so I wanted more things on it. And the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus is becoming the same case. I want to get as much as I can on this device because I really enjoy playing it. At the moment, I do not enjoy playing the Nintendo Switch. I really want them to make a new Nintendo Switch soon, or something. And if they release Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, or Tears of the Kingdom, I don't know if they've actually vocally said the title yet, given us the phonetic pronunciation. I'd like to think it's Tears of the Kingdom, but I can imagine why it would be Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong and it has been announced, but it's one or the other. But if I have to play that game on a regular... I'll do it. I'll play it on a regular Switch, but if they release that game with a brand new Switch, I will get that brand new Switch. Hands down, day one, Let's go. Alright, that's a good look at. I mean, Metal Slug's Metal Slug. I mean, it runs on MAME on here, so there was never going to be anything difficult about that. But you never know with these emulators. Sometimes something funny happens. This is a Nayuta Endless Trails. I'm not actually interested in playing this anymore, but it is a game that was, I think it's Japanese only, and it's been fan translated. So this is the fan translated version. And the reason I wanted to play this is because it looks beautiful. It looks like Chrono Cross with 3D levels. And if you look at the settings here, I had to turn off that 60 Hz option again because it was causing a problem. So I'm just going to run around. And this is an actual 3D, it's an action RPG, so you can get a sword and do combat. But the level design of this game is pretty generic. And I guess like the first example I can think of being similar would be Dark Cloud, where you have like all this amazing design, you have like a great town, etc, etc, and then you have the levels, the dungeons and stuff, and it's just boring, whatever. I don't think it's randomly generated in this game, but that's what put me off this game. And maybe I should have played it a little more because I really, really love the art style and the design. I love the 3D models. I get what, because since my day job, my main job is to compose music, and I compose music for video games. But what I would love is to compose the music. Like, I've always wanted to compose the music for a JRPG, and I somewhat have. I've worked on a couple of Chrono Trigger fan games, even though they didn't finish, and I've worked on some other stuff. But does the camera turn? No. But if I found an indie team working on a game that looked exactly like this and they did the composer, you bet your ass I'm going to try and get that job. So, can I do it in the menu? So that's a save state. I actually got further in this game. Yes, I'd like to load that. And once you do that town section, you get to like this kind of like overworld thing. And if I press... no, I don't. Every time I do this, I forget. There we go. I press back and I can go here. So this is like another hub that's more connected to the dungeons in this world. And it's beautiful. It looks gorgeous. I'm not sure what else is connected through here. You basically have a teleporter here as a main. And there's like this girl here who's asleep and you have to save her. Yeah, it's one of them games. Ew. If you listen closely. What? That's a weird description. Okay, I did not expect this conversation. That's one of the things I like about fan translated stuff as well. Like, yeah, it's direct. You get the translation that is what the Japanese script was trying to tell you. Sometimes when a game is localized, they have to change things and so on. And that can be kind of annoying. or it can be kind of great. It depends. Maybe Metal Gear Solid 2 is one of those cases. So I think it was quite well known now that Hideo Kojima was not happy with the localization of Metal Gear Solid 2, but maybe it was actually good. Alright, so that's a really cool game. Just a bit generic, but if you like things like Dark Cloud, you could probably really get into that. The next game we're going to have a look at is OutRun. Do not think I have a save state here. I do have settings, so I think I must have turned off. No, I do have the 60 Hz thing. What did I change? Maybe I didn't change anything, actually. I wouldn't have changed the controls. I don't think I've changed anything. Oh, I didn't change the settings here. I changed the acceleration to the shoulder buttons, but I don't actually like that. I thought I would, but I don't. Okay, now that I remember, because there is like these little hiccups, these like certain bits of road where it does. Okay, so simulate block transfer effects is off. Curves quality is high. We've set the low resolution thing here to balance. And we have set the IO to... No, it's fast as it should be. Okay, that's what it was. So I only changed a couple of things. But we'll just drive around for a bit. It usually is quite smooth. But it's like a bit at the start, and it might actually just be a loading thing. So when it starts loading the next section of the race, we'll get to that point and see if it does it. But basically you have like two diverging paths and you pick one or the other. And it's at that point where it looks like it's going from 60 to 30 frames. And that might not have anything to do with the emulator. It might just be the game itself. I haven't actually looked at YouTube footage of this game running on a PSP, so I don't know for sure. But this is one of those games. It's so this is on the PlayStation 2 as well. When I was doing videos on my Odin, I would recommend getting this game on the PSP because it looks great and it would run flawlessly. On the PlayStation 2, this game didn't run perfectly for me on the Odin, and I wouldn't even try to run this on the PS2 on this device. Although I haven't tested it, so it might actually run really well. It's been a fair bit of time now that maybe some things in Aether SX2 have improved, and it might run better. But you have an excellent port of the game on the PSP, so... Something I try and recommend, because I used to get a lot of recommendations on the Odin, like, oh, can you play this game on the on the PlayStation 2? And I would say, like, well, don't worry about it too much, because there's a lot of games that are multi-platform. So if there's a PSP version of the game, then yeah, if it's exactly the same, it's just a little bit downgraded graphically, sorry, then it's going to work great. And one of the best things about that, even though if it's a little bit downgraded, you can up the render, the resolution, and it starts looking fantastic on the PSP, on PPSSPP. That's what I'm trying to say. Next game we'll have a look at is Patapon. Now, this is a 2D game. This is going to run fantastic. But I have it. So it took me a little while. So this is a rhythm game where you have to put in different commands. So if I look at the help thing here and hold that, there's a command for onward and attack. So I need to make them move. Patapon. It does get a bit addictive, and then I want them to attack. So circle, circle, square, circle. Patapon, Patapon. There are 3 of these games. I've never played them before. Oh no, I got it wrong. Patapon. Who's that? I am Ban. The what? Oh, cool. Is he gonna add something to the mix? Like literally. He just uses a sword. He's gonna smash everything up. Spank them bottoms? Okay. Right, next game we're gonna have a look at is Power Stone Collection. Now this one's like, I don't know what's different in this game apart from like having proper widescreen and stuff, because you can play both of these on the Dreamcast emulator like absolutely fine. Just gonna double check if I changed anything here. No. I turned that 60 Hz option off. So to be honest with you, in the global settings, you might as well just leave that 60 Hz option off. I don't know what games benefit from it, but because it says some games with lower frame rates benefit from it, I just kept it on. Because I'd rather like reap the rewards of it and then turn it off for games that don't. So I might be wrong on that. But as you can see, Power Stone Collection looks gorgeous and runs perfectly. Like I said at the start of this video, man, there's only a couple of games that have a couple of problems, and off the top of my head, literally those games I think are God of War and maybe Syphon Filter? I don't even know where I am. That guy just threw a wooden crate at my face. Damn, I just got halt. Power Stone runs great. Let's have a look at what's next. Okay, so these two are actually 2 of my personal favorites. Pursuit Force. Pursuit Force is like an absolute dynamite game. Imagine Chase HQ, except you can like jump on other people's cars. And let me just double check if I changed any settings here. Because Pursuit Force 1 ran fine. It was Pursuit Force 2 that did not. So you start off with this awesome police car, and no, you're not going to use it. The music is absolutely dynamite as well. The music's by Richard Jacques, who is very well known with Sega games, and he does this like amazing orchestral soundtrack with the I think it's the Prague Philharmonic Orchestra, and it's like speed, it's just awesome Hollywood style stuff. So you jump on their cars, you get in. It's a bit like like Just Cause. I was really into Just Cause. So when I heard about this game on the PSP, I was like, dude, that sounds amazing.
Give it up, warlords. You're under arrest.
You cops are just wannabe soldiers who couldn't stomach boot camp.
You just jump on their car, shoot the crap out of them, steal their car, and get on. If you've never played these games and you're looking for like a pretty fun action title with driving, whoa. Okay, that's bad driving. You can't go wrong with these two. You see what I mean? The music's epic. And I can jump from this car to this car. Justice meter, so restore health. Yep. Give me some of that health. Keeps you back in the game. I know the jumping is just crazy, but it's a great action game. And this is only the first level. It gets a bit more creative as you get through it. I think there's also like boats as well. The second game mixes it up even more by adding like on-foot sections as well. So let's go check out the second game. Which I definitely had to change some settings for. So, look at those. No. I'm going to delete one of these on the video, but so we have changed. We've taken this. The 60 Hz is still on. We've changed it to 2x for PSP. We have turned every one of these settings on. We've set the curves to medium. We have changed lower resolution to aggressive. And the final option we have changed is the one here in system, which is IO timing method is now to host rather than fast. And now the game runs perfectly. This is the first level after the first cutscene. I remember when I first tested this and it was in the OpenGL, it ran really badly and I was so confused. Because I hadn't actually done a lot of research on this device until around the time like, whoa, that's bad. Until, what do I do? Stop. Until I actually ordered it. And, well, got it delivered rather. I didn't realize that Vulkan was going to be such a big thing for this device. Because I haven't actually worked with a device that has a Melee GPU. I don't know about the first game, but this is the sequel, and it's also on the PlayStation 2. So yeah, these guys are like committing crimes. They committed their crime on the day of the main character's wedding, and that woman who was just talking to us. Yep. Nearly got away with it. And of course, Richard Jacks came back for the second soundtrack. I don't know the second game as well. I don't think I actually finished. I played some of this, but it must have been around the time when I was busy. Justice meter. I have a grenade launcher, apparently, and I'm just using it up close on the car I want to hijack. That's fine. Yeah, Richard Jacks came back for this one. I don't know this soundtrack as well, but it sounds epic as usual. I'm trying to think of something more recent Richard Jacks done. I think he did the music for the Guardians of the Galaxy game that came out last year. He's definitely, you know, like a working composer. He just carries on and works and works. If you know Jet Set Radio, he actually did a couple of the tracks in that game as well. And he did the James Bond Bloodstone soundtrack, the game which featured Daniel Craig and was on the 360 PS3, I think PC? Oh, this car is getting taken out. How do I look? I'll just take the civilian's car, and the civilian just gets in the passenger seat. Like, yeah, no problem. This first level in this game actually has a boss. Oh my. I was hoping to get to it, but my vehicle got destroyed. It just seems to be a thing on these videos I do. There we go. Bad gameplay. It's so epic. Pretty kick-ass, right? Watch that bad guy we just killed? Watch him. Poof, just flew off the windscreen. He's definitely dead. Okay. Wow, this video is getting quite long. Just like the last GameCube video. I'm not even showing any settings. It's literally just a showcase of games. So that's Pursuit Force 1 and 2. This is Way of the Samurai 2. So Way of the Samurai is it's a very Japanese game because you play as like a samurai. These games were on the PlayStation 2, but I think they're exclusive to the PSP in Japan. But these ones have been fan translated. And wait, did I pick the wrong game? I think I did. I did actually pick the wrong game. Yeah, these have been fan translated so that you can play them in English on the PSP. And it's definitely worth it if you're into these games. So, what did I change here? Did I change controls? It says I have custom settings. I don't know what I've changed. But I played these on the PS2, and you basically play as like a nameless samurai that wanders into so the first one it's kind of like a village. In this one it's more like a town, city, and there's a day and night system, and it goes, there's like a week, like an in-game week, and you can do absolutely anything you want. You can do nothing if you want. You can beat up this guy and that's all you ever do, or you can talk to people, you can get involved in other people's stories. This lady here might have something very important about her. You will find some very important characters, and you can get involved in a whole situation. So in the first game, it was more about like an era where the samurai are getting killed, they're getting wiped out, and you basically have to choose a side. And it had like 5-6 different endings or something, like true endings. And this is like a similar kind of deal. And you basically, so in this game, you're on this island, and you can go anywhere on the map you want at any time. And you can just learn stuff, get involved, and it's a game all about replayability. And the more you play it, like, so this dude, for example, he might actually be like a secret samurai. I can kill him, take his signature sword, finish the game, and then his sword will be added to your sword collection, and you can like go into the next playthrough with that sword, and you can level up these swords, you can customize your character, get new looks. I do believe there's like a whole multiplayer system as well. The combat is quite cool. Actually, I thought this was English translated. There definitely was. This dude just wants to kill me. Oh, this dude is going to kick my ass. This is not a good time to test this. And there's juggling as well. So I think that would end your playthrough. I can't remember exactly. But what I wanted to show is the combat just for a moment. So I can like get my sword out and just go ham on some guys if I want. But I want to get someone who I can fight. Oh, when I changed this game, I changed it so the right stick is the camera. That's what I changed. Alright, so there's this whole blocking system where I hold block, but I can hold back or stay neutral or hold forward. And if I guess it right, they'll lose balance or I'll lose balance. So I just lost my balance there for holding the wrong direction. So once you get it right and they lose their balance, you can do a critical strike to him. His mate just hit him. There's also a durability system to these weapons. So you see down there's a red meter going down now. If I get too crazy or block too much, I can break my weapon. But you can strengthen these weapons and get more durability for them. And you can learn new moves for each of these weapons. Every weapon you have to like level up and you'll learn more abilities. Really cool series, really cool game. There's like 4 or 5 of them now, but they started getting wackier after the 3rd game. And that wasn't portable. Next game we're going to have a look at is Split Second, another driving game. This is a really cool game. This is one I used to play a lot on PC and Xbox 360, but it actually is a pretty decent port for the PSP. And it's like, well, it's touted as a game show driving game, but literally, it's kind of like Burnout, except you don't take out the enemy by driving into them. You take it out by... you see at the bottom below my car there's a meter building up, and if I get some of that meter and play it now, then I can activate something in the map to take out the cars, and I can decide to build up this meter and do something even crazier later on in the level, like maybe even change the course by like blowing up a building or something. So if let's see if I get that option again. So there, press the button. And, of course, I do terrible driving. I think that truck reversed. So I blew up a car there, and it took some people out. This is not a good demonstration. I'm way too far behind these cars. So that thing, holding that truck, if I had a full meter... that helicopter would drag that truck all the way through that bridge section. If you can play this game, I would absolutely recommend checking it out on Xbox or PC. I think it was on PlayStation as well. But it's such a fun racing game to play with a friend. Can't remember if it's 4-player. It's definitely 2-player. And if you're looking for like an amazing racing game to play with a friend, this is the one. So we just blew up the side of that building and we took out Pook. And Flynn. I didn't even know this PSP port existed until I think this year. So I was really surprised to learn that I could play this game on a handheld if I wanted to. And there's loads of other fun modes in this game. Like, there's this one where you have to keep, like, racing around a course where, like, this lorry or truck is dropping explosive barrels and you've got to avoid it. Okay, maybe that one doesn't sound that fun. But there's loads of amazing courses in this game. And some of the most fun you can have is building up this meter and trying to figure out, you know, how you can take out the other cars or how the track differs once you... So look, I'm going to try and build up this red meter. You build that up basically by slipstreaming or drifting. And let's get back to that bridge section where I talked about that helicopter. So I'm in first place. I don't really need to use it, but here we come. So red thing's going to pop up. Oh, someone else used it. It wasn't me. Great. And you can see it's just torn through some of the top of this bridge. Great. I didn't get to show it because the AI used it. There's usually at least two different things in the track that require full meter. There's a lot of stuff going on in this game, and we are not dropping speed at all. When you think about it, the PlayStation emulator is quite impressive. That especially the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus can do this at this resolution as well. Very cool. The PSP lives on. You got helicopters dropping explosive barrels. Oh, this one's amazing. Wait, watch this. Oh, it was the end of the level. Oh my god. So there was this giant skyscraper ahead of us, and if you have full meter, you can blow it up and it just starts falling towards you, like as you get to that finish line, and then you can drive up it. Yeah, if I haven't sold you on this game, then I'll be very sad. Okay, so that was Split Second. I'm gonna, because this video is quite long, I was gonna show Star Ocean. So, a quick thing I want to say about Star Ocean is that it kept slowing down here and there for no reason. And what I did is I changed the backend to OpenGL, and then it started running fine. But you have to restart the emulator to get it to work. So I was just gonna point that out. We are gonna look at Syphon Filter Dark Mirror, because this one was tough to run. So I've turned off transfer effects. We've turned on all these extra options here. The curve quality, left that at high. We've not changed this lower resolution thing. And did I change this? I haven't changed that. But I was finding that when people were shooting in this game, it kept slowing down. And when I turned the transfer effects option off, sorry, I need to adjust my position. I'm leaning on my elbow too much. When I turned that option off, it started to feel a bit smoother. And I've changed all the controls as well to make this work as a twin stick shooter. So I'm gonna just shoot this guy in the back so that... Oh, that counted as a stealth kill? No. When I want to play good, when I want to play bad. Okay, so I want these guys to just start shooting. I just want to show that now it's smooth. But when I had that transfer effect on, it would slow down to like 95, maybe 90. It was just a very odd thing. I've never played these. I was a big Syphon Filter fan when I was younger, particularly Syphon Filter 1 and 2. I played Syphon Filter 3, but I felt like it wasn't really a true sequel, and I don't know, just like graphically I thought it was a bit off as well. And the way I've set this game up is that the aiming is on the stick and the movement is on the buttons, and then I've switched them with the emulator. Ooh, what is that? Oh, that's new. How did... What caused that? Whoa. And then we've got like the lights coming through, which is a bit like hardware download mode disabled on the PlayStation 2. I must admit, I didn't test this game very much. That's interesting. Is that Nolan North? This was that like era where like Nolan North did voices for everything. Dunk. So there isn't actually many settings to look at when we doing this. The problem could be this 60 Hz thing, because that usually is the problem. So let's load the state again and do the exact same thing. So let's get everyone alert and take these guys out. It's slowing down a bit there too. Okay, so let's assume the worst. Let's go down to 2x. Let's also, so all these are on. Let's turn this one to aggressive. And let's go to system and let's change the IO timing thing to host. Let's see how that works. And continue. So we've still got the lights poking through. I'm not sure which setting on PPSSPP is doing that. But whatever happened before seems to have been fixed. I suppose at this point it's worth saying that the difference between 2x and 3x isn't massive. I mean, you probably, if you like have the device on hand and you're looking quite close and quite specifically, you probably would go, okay, 3x is a lot better. But if you're just like very passive playing a game, you probably wouldn't think too much between 2x and 3x. Dude, yeah, one of the other things I didn't like about these new games is that they changed the voice actor, or the original voice actor didn't return. And, ooh. What is that effect? Is that... That's definitely causing a problem. This, like, it's not exactly volumetric, but... That's weird. That is the problem. I think it's best to just run up and knock people on the head. That's annoying, because the original Syphon Filter games were very much about, like, you could get taken out very quickly. They were quite frustrating games when they wanted to be, but they were very, very fun. But yeah, I think if I was to play this, I think I would need to test this one just a bit more. Something's not quite right. That doesn't get old. Dunk. Dunk. Okay, that's enough for Syphon Filter. Yeah, I apologize about that one. I thought that was okay, but I obviously rushed into it. Tactics Ogre runs fine. I believe... You know what, let me just have a look at the settings for that, because I changed something, and I think it was block transfer effects off I needed to turn off, because when I load state... No. When I load state... It was here that the frame rate was dropping pretty hard, and when I turned block transfer effects off, it got smooth again. But I'm not going to test, because I'll be here for ages testing these games. But yeah, it's another... I mean, we've seen more demanding tactical games. I turned that effect off, and it's running fine. So that's Tactics Ogre running well. I hope. I definitely want to check out Tekken 6. Hang on a second. There isn't a gear icon. So I changed nothing for Tekken 6. That's the global settings, and I'm going to load state.
You surely don't believe you can beat me.
Round one. Fight.
Now, I don't play Tekken. I'm just sort of pretending I'm playing Dead or Alive. I don't know the button inputs. But I did a few battles in this, and I was like, yeah, this game runs absolutely amazingly.
You win. Round two. Fight.
Promotion chance. I don't know what I'm doing. Perfect. My channel's so weird, man. Sometimes I play absolutely terribly. Sometimes I play, like, unusually amazing. Oh, we're gonna beat up a kangaroo. Fantastic. And his kid. Goddamn kangaroo. Where are you going, lady? Oh, nice. How? Oh, that kangaroo just socked it to me.
Round two. Fight.
There's no block in this game, I don't think. There wasn't a button for it. Oh, dude, this kangaroo is getting absolutely punished. Oh, so am I. Oh, he got me. I do not like him. Screw him. That's pretty... I love it when a fighting game like that runs so well on these devices, because when it's so smooth, you have a really good time, and then you think, God, I feel like I might actually want to play that more. Same thing happened with Soul Calibur the other day. Soul Calibur 2 on Dolphin MMJR. Let's have a look at the third birthday, which is supposed to be Parasite Eve 3. But a lot of people would say, no, it's not. We turned the 60 Hz option off because that was really slowing the game down, like really badly. And I've set the controls to use the camera on the right stick. Apologize for the spammy movement. I can actually just hold the shoot button and she'll do burst fire, which I probably should do for the sake of this video. It's just very slow. The thing is, I want to play this game. I've played Parasite Eve 1. I love Parasite Eve 1. I think it's amazing in so many different ways. Like, it's an amazing game, but it's so odd. Like, it's weird, it's cheesy, it's like X-Files, it's like Resident Evil, it's like a bunch of things, and it's awesome. And then Parasite Eve 2, I played about half the game, and I was like, I cannot stomach this any longer This is one of the worst sequels I've ever played to a game. I can't believe this exists. And that game is quite divisive. Like, there are people who think it's amazing. I just did not like it. So, maybe, I mean, a lot of people don't like this game. Maybe I would like it. It is something I'm considering playing. Especially with these controls. But it runs really nicely. And I know a lot of the problems people had with this game. It's like, so, I forget the name of this character. Aya. Thank you. She's quite the badass. But apparently in this game, she's like, you know, she's been proper Tetsuya Nomura. Is that his name? Nomura? He, like, you know, makes her seem kind of weak in ways, or, like, makes her too sexual, you know, and it's like, why are you doing that? She's quite a badass character. You don't have to do that to her. What?
Keep transferring from vessel to vessel to maintain an advantage during battle.
Is that Troy Baker? Oh, I don't know. I always love showing Ultimate Ghouls and Goblins. Actually, let me see if there was a cog and see if I changed any settings. I changed something. No. Was it the 60 hertz thing? Yeah, I turned the 60 hertz off. So Ghouls and Goblins runs fantastic on this device. It's an amazing game. If you can stomach it, it's worth a playthrough. If you are easy to get angry, maybe don't play it, because I wouldn't want you to throw your Retroid Pocket 3 across the room. There's a lot of times where this game can be absolute bullshit, or I think the difficulty in it is, it's like, it's aggravating but in a fun way. There's no other games that are quite like this, and I'm just jumping around being an idiot. But I played this on my Vita, using Adrenaline, and I beat the game. I can't remember if I got the true ending. I think I did everything. If we look here... What? Wait, hang on, something's wrong. Something is wrong. And we'll use the fast forward, blah blah blah. Load game. Thank you. That's better. So, yeah, I got all like the magic and stuff. There was a couple items I couldn't find, but I've been to like every area, and is it the rings I gotta find now? You have to go through every level and find all these rings. And it might have been at that point, after I'd finished the game and had to do that, I might have given up a bit. But yeah, Ghouls and Goblins runs super good. And I'm only going to check out one more game. Wild Arms XF. I didn't know this. It's a tactics game. Runs great. Let's have a quick look at Yu-Gi-Oh! This will be our final game. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Tag Force 3. I used to be quite a big Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, not a big Yu-Gi-Oh! fan. I loved the anime, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, not so much GX. That's around the point I jumped off. But I also used to play the card game, and I do have a soft spot for Yu-Gi-Oh! And the really annoying thing is, if you don't know Yu-Gi-Oh!, you have to read all these cards, because some of them have like very specific effects. And I'm not going to get into that now, because I'll be here all day. So I'm just going to summon this monster with 16... Oh no, I'm pressing the wrong button. With 1600 attack points. Oh no, Torrential Tribute on one summon? Are you kidding me? Torrential Tribute will destroy every monster on the field when it's activated. I think it's every monster, even his own. And well, he just screwed us over, so we can steal one of his monsters next turn, but we got nothing we can do. So because you can only summon one monster per turn, unless there's like some crazy effect. To the monster card. So what we got there? I don't even know why I'm showcasing this game. Look at it. It's so basic. It's just cards and a spiraling galaxy effect in the background. There's really no reason to show this sort of anymore. See that would have been great to have last round. I can summon that one and he can't activate his trap cards. And I can just go to the battle phase and give him a good whack. Yeah, take that, Zane. Your Cyber Dragon deck. You call this pain? You don't know real pain. Alright, that is the end of my PSP video. And I'm very sorry that it's been nearly 2 hours. I didn't even think it would take that long. And we've gotten through a lot of these games. And there's really not much to set up apart from the start of those settings I showed. It might be in your best interest to just leave render duplicate frames to 60 Hz off. I don't know if there's actually been a real benefit to having that on, but for several of those games I've had to turn it off. So off the top of my head, I can't actually remember which ones, but you know, I showed it in the video. So that's PSP. When I do these videos, it actually really encourages me to go play that emulator some more. So I'm actually kind of psyched to play some more PSP games soon. The next video I would like to do is most likely going to be maybe some more PlayStation 2 games. And some people have asked me about this. This is the Pegasus front end, which you can install via APK. You sideload it, and you can download different themes for it. So I could, for example, just go to settings, theme. I've only got the basic one that comes with the APK. It's pretty basic, but it does the job. Except they're all loading kind of slowly. And then there's Shin Retro, but this is my custom Shin Retro with my own music and things. And I put a bunch of work into like programming some different things about this, swapping some UI stuff. And so the way it's set up, these games are showing the title screen. If you go to settings, sorry, it's in games. It says box art grid or screenshot grid, and with box art grid, what it does by default is it will show the box art here, and then it would show the a screenshot of the game here. Or you could have it vice versa and have screenshots here and then the box art here. I like the box art here, but I did not like the screenshots, so I wanted them to show the title screens, and I had to figure out how to like tweak the code there to show that. But I really love this front end. It's my favorite. I know a lot of people like Daijishu because it's very simple to use and it looks awesome, but I like, you know, so I made all these little videos, screenshots as well. If I'm just like sitting around mulling like which collection do I want to play, that's probably my favorite one, that Streets of Rage one, using different artwork to make a cool little video there. And obviously this is like most people's favorite. Rosalina. This Dreamcast one I made for Jet Set Radio is pretty good too. I don't know why I didn't make a Shenmue one. I'm a very big Shenmue fan. And so that's it. That's the end of my video. So we will be looking at Wii and PlayStation 2 again at some point. So if you like this video, please give it a like. I hope the next couple of videos will be a bit better quality, because with the PSP one, I didn't really have any settings to go into. I was just sort of mulling around between different games. But PSP wasn't a necessary one, but it felt like a really good showcase for this device. This device does PSP very, very well. It's just the form factor, the screen, everything about it is just like, yes, use me for PSP. So there you go. Works fantastically. Yeah, and do subscribe, hit that bell button if you want to see more content. And I will see you very soon for the next video. So thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.